Ethan Marlowe leaned back in his seat on the flight from Seattle, exhaustion tugging at his eyelids, but satisfaction steady in his chest. The negotiations he'd wrapped up earlier that day would pump new life into his software company's cash flow. For once, all those late nights and airport meals felt worth it. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and keep watching, because the best part's coming up next. Even better, he'd managed to see his younger sister, Rachel. She'd taken the bus up from Tacoma, where she was finishing her senior year at the University of Washington. They'd had dinner at the Hilton Garden Inn, laughing over childhood memories, teasing each other about old crushes, and catching up on years they'd missed. It had been far too long. Ethan walked away from that dinner full, both belly and heart. Now, as the plane droned toward home, his mind shifted to Melissa. His wife of nearly 5 years, the woman he loved more than anyone else alive, despite her jealous streak. She had a sharp tongue when she was insecure, but Ethan always brushed it off as passion. Their anniversary was only 2 days away, and he'd been planning something special. A weekend at a local resort, complete with a blue sapphire sunburst necklace he'd ordered weeks ago. He could almost see her hazel eyes lighting up when he slipped it around her neck. But tonight, something felt off. Before boarding, he'd tried calling her. Her cell went straight to voicemail. So did the house phone. Odd. Usually she answered within minutes, especially on days he was flying back. Probably out with friends, he told himself. Maybe shopping. Maybe already working on an anniversary surprise. But as the plane touched down and the passengers stirred to life, unease gnawed at him. By the time he reached his car in the short-term lot, the sun had dipped below the horizon. He tried Melissa again. Voicemail. Again. His jaw tightened. Melissa wasn't careless like this. The drive home was quiet, the streets awash in the last streaks of sunset. Pulling into the garage, he frowned. Her car wasn't there. At 6:30, she should have been home for more than an hour. Normally, she'd be waiting at the door, arms flung around his neck. The house was dark when he stepped inside. Empty. No note. No message. He set his bag down and brewed a cup of coffee, the bitterness matching the churn in his gut. That was when his phone rang. Melissa. He snatched it up. Melissa? Where are you? Her voice was airy, almost playful. Sorry, Ethan. I was getting ready for tonight and didn't notice your calls. Getting ready? For what? A surprise, she said. Some friends and I put something together for you. A little welcome home/anniversary party, he blinked. Really? Where? She rattled off an address. He jotted it down, frowning. That's not exactly the nicest part of town. Who's hosting? An old friend, she replied. He's got a private club in his basement. Don't worry, you'll love it. Just wear something casual. Before he could press her further, she ended the call with, See you soon, babe. No, I love you. Not even a warm goodbye, just curt. Ethan showered, shaved, and dressed in jeans and a polo shirt, but unease curled in his stomach. He tried his martial arts breathing exercises, long, steady inhales, controlled exhales, but the tension clung to him. The Garmin guided him through dim neighborhoods until he arrived at a chain-link fenced house surrounded by pickups and motorcycles. A man the size of a linebacker opened the door, beer in hand. Yeah? I'm Ethan Marlowe. My wife Melissa asked me to meet her here. The man grinned, though his eyes were cold. You must be Melissa's old man. Call me Crusher. Come on in. We've been expecting you. Inside, the air smelled of sweat, beer, and stale smoke. 4 other men lounged in the living room, all muscle and menace. Their laughter didn't reach their eyes. "Where's Melissa?" Ethan asked. "Downstairs, getting ready for the main event," Crusher said. The others chuckled. They handed him a beer. He sipped, uneasy. The term main event scraped his nerves raw. Moments later, another man appeared. "She's ready?" "Diesel will take you down," Crusher said, gesturing. Ethan followed Diesel into a dim basement that looked more like a seedy nightclub than a home. A bar glowed in one corner. Neon signs flickered on the walls, and in the center stood a raised sas with a bed. A camera on a tripod pointed straight at it. Ethan froze. "Have a seat," Diesel said, motioning to a chair facing the stage. The instant he sat, rough hands grabbed him. Zip ties bit into his wrists and ankles. "What the hell is this?" Ethan barked, struggling. Melissa's voice sliced through the shadows. "Shut up, Ethan." He looked up and felt his world collapse. Melissa stood half-dressed, her hazel eyes wild, her mouth twisted in a sneer. "What are you doing?" he shouted. "Why are you dressed like that? Who are these people?" "This is your anniversary present," she spat. "A lesson. You want to cheat on me? Fine. Watch me enjoy myself with real men." She tossed a photo into his lap. Ethan stared. It was him at dinner, with Rachel. "That's my sister," he yelled. "My sister!" "You insane woman." "Nonsense!" Melissa screamed. "Don't lie to me." A fist crashed against his face, snapping his head sideways. Blood filled his mouth. "Stop," Melissa ordered, waving the man back. "This is my show." She turned to Ethan, her voice low and shaking with fury. "That blonde floozy won't satisfy you like this." She strutted onto the stage, laughing as the men closed in. Ethan thrashed, but the zip ties cut deeper. A gag silenced him, his rage muffled into pitiful grunts. "Relax," Crusher whispered in his ear. "Melissa's an old friend. We're just helping her teach you a lesson. When it's over, maybe she'll go home with you." Maybe not. Ethan's pulse pounded. His chest burned. He tried his breathing techniques, but fury boiled past them. On stage, Melissa sneered down at him. "Oh, and just so you know, I've been off the pill. If I get pregnant tonight, you'll raise the baby. But it won't be yours." The room roared with laughter. Like what you see? Click like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. Let's keep going. Something in Ethan snapped. The next moments were a blur. Blood, screams, chaos. Years of disciplined martial arts training surged through him. When his vision cleared, he stood panting amid broken bodies. Diesel howled, his hand pinned to a table with his own knife. The zip ties hung shredded from Ethan's wrists and ankles, skin raw and bleeding. Melissa stood frozen, eyes wide with terror. "Please, don't hurt me," she whispered. Ethan's voice shook, low and cold. "I won't touch you." He pulled out his phone, dialed 911, and told the operator everything. "You destroyed our marriage over a lie," he said, staring at her trembling figure. "It wasn't a lie," she sobbed. "I saw the picture." "That was Rachel, my sister. If you'd read the report, you'd know that." His chest heaved. "I'm divorcing you, Melissa. You'll rot in prison, and I'll never look at you again." Sirens wailed outside. Police stormed in, guns drawn, shouting commands. Within minutes, the house was swarming. "Did you do this?" a sergeant demanded. Ethan nodded, pointing to the camera. "It's all on tape." The following day, his phone rang. Melissa's mother, Carla. "She says it's all a misunderstanding," Carla pleaded. "Misunderstanding?" Ethan snapped. "She had me tied up and forced to watch her sleep with strangers. Because she saw a picture of me with my sister. Do you understand? She's insane. And tomorrow, I'm filing for divorce. Silence hung on the line. Finally, Carla whispered, I don't know what to say. Ethan ended the call. Later, sitting at Melissa's computer, Ethan unearthed the truth. Emails from Hollister Investigations. The photo of him and Rachel. The report, clearly stating the woman was his sister, and that no inappropriate behavior was observed. But Melissa hadn't read a word. Worse, he found her correspondence with a site called The Dash. Emails plotting his humiliation, step by step. Requests for total destruction. Exchanges with Crusher, arranging every vile detail. Ethan's hands shook as he printed everything. His blood pressure surged until he forced himself to swallow another pill. Detective Ramirez confirmed what Ethan feared. Melissa had signed release forms for the videos. Dozens of men had been trapped and filmed, their degradation sold online. Some had even taken their lives. When Ethan's lawyer, Camilla, saw the evidence, her face hardened. We'll take everything she owns, she promised. House, assets, 90% of it all. She'll rot in prison, and you'll be free. The trial was brutal. Melissa sat pale, shaking, eyes darting toward Ethan as witness after witness spoke. Victims' families, police investigators, Ethan himself. Her defense claimed jealousy had clouded her judgment, that she'd been manipulated by men like Crusher. But the emails told another story, one of a woman who had orchestrated humiliation, who had paid to destroy her husband. The jury barely needed an hour. Guilty on every charge: abuse, conspiracy, sexual assault, fraud. 20 years in prison. As bailiffs led Melissa away, a process server handed her divorce papers. She wept. Ethan didn't look at her. Her accomplices faced even harsher sentences after investigators uncovered their network of victims. The site was dismantled. Settlements bankrupted them, and Ethan walked away with $2 million. Not as triumph, but as restitution for a life shattered. He donated part to victims' families. The rest he kept, starting fresh. Therapy with Dr. Allerton was slow, but steady. Meditation, grounding techniques, rebuilding trust in himself. The breathing returned. The pills gathered dust. The house felt lighter without Melissa's shadow. Months passed. Ethan dated cautiously, heart guarded but open. Healing was slow, but healing nonetheless. One evening, as rain pattered softly against the windows, Ethan sat alone, listening to the calm. He breathed deeply, steady. He had survived betrayal, cruelty, and humiliation. And somewhere, just beyond the horizon, hope waited. This story is a powerful reminder of how trust, once broken, can lead to devastating consequences. It's heartbreaking to see how jealousy and misunderstanding spiraled into such a dark place. But it also highlights the strength it takes to rise from betrayal and reclaim one's life. Ethan's journey shows us that even in the worst moments, resilience and hope can prevail. It's a tough story, but one that speaks to the complexity of human relationships and the importance of communication and truth. If you found this story compelling, please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your reactions or any similar stories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.